Oh, hello, my dear ones. Whoo-wee! We've been doing videos. Yesterday, Texas Fruit Festival. That was fun. But 90% of that was spiritual talking. And I noticed that there's a big move, and I've just been waiting for that move. So we'll be talking a lot more about the doorway through to where you come from. And that doorway, I talked about it yesterday with the gentleman at the Fruit Festival, and we also had a video for you guys with Jessica, and that was interesting. She was very interested in the spiritual side of life as well. You're finding that's very much a part of detoxification and just part of life. I mean, spirituality simply means that you're not frozen in your desires and your belief systems. And the problem, your lack of freedom comes from your belief systems. What you believe in is a chain around your neck, whether it's true or not. Let's say we talked about Buddha, living, 17 years under a tree, finally getting up and going, I'm done. It took him about a few seconds to realize that out of years and years of trying to seek. And that's the whole thing. The seeker of God never finds God. Nope. Because you're seeking always outside for that which you already are. And the only way you're going to really find that real doorway, and I brought this up yesterday, is through the alone state. That's the one driving force I've had since I was wee little, that alone state. What's in it? What is it? No one can come with you into that alone state. When I strip away my physical body, that's what meditation does, strips away your different levels, if you allow that, so you can view from a higher perspective. Not that you're going to see your higher self, you're becoming your higher self. Got to be careful of the tricks of the mind and how the mind wants you to keep bidding its wars for it. So it's always going to create separation in the nomenclature. So just the very word God limits the infinite. That's why consciousness from Eastern religions generally, or intelligence from physics, these sort of things are the only words that can define something that is infinite and undefinable. As soon as you go, you slipped yourself into creation. And going through that alone door, Paul Twitchell coined this a long time ago, and it hit me real hard. And he coined that alone exists. And that's what you see. And I've talked about that yesterday. When you strip away your bodies, you have all these different levels. Your emotional level is the driving force. I guess that's why the 1,000-petal lotus is its primal drive and its energy source, but it's the driver of thought. Thought can hang forever, but a driver of thought manifests it on these lower levels. And so that's why you have to look at all these things. When you become acidic and weakened physically, and I just did a video for our endocrinology systems level. I'm doing a video for all these different levels and systems, but I want you to keep in mind there's only basically 3 outside of the reproductive over here. We've got blood, we've got lymph, and we've got nerve. So we got 3 major systems that cover just about every organ and gland and endocrinology you've got. So it just comes down to simplicity and comes down to stripping away. And that's sort of why, we talked about that yesterday, why you see Jesus and Buddha and all these in poverty consciousness. All these stories are given into poverty consciousness. You don't see a wealthy person traveling to the heart of God. Why is that? Well, in the spiritual worlds, poverty is an example of detachment. A detachment of I don't care. My attention is in the now. I'm observing the activity of creation, just like the divine. The divine is just watching. All this is coming out of it. You know, totality, the finite is simply coming out of the belly, if you want, of the infinite. Playing the role of everything else. If you were the only thing that existed, which you are, what would you do? You see what you're made of? So it's difficult to understand some of these things because we've so conditioned the mind and the emotions with religions and philosophies and things like that. The seeking of truth, the fear, the suffering, seeking of truth of health and vitality, seeking the doorway into the infinite, into the God worlds, into God. Now, he's telling you I was taught out of body traveling for most of my life in one form or another, right? Until I don't know where I'm going. I've had a couple individuals with me, and we were traveling somewhere, and this voice, like I said, rippled through me. Said, by the way, who's the traveler? Because I thought traveling, you could go travel to the heavens and see what they're like. There's only one way to travel. There's only one doorway into the heavens, the high levels of consciousness. And that doorway is you only. There's no other door you can open up. There's no spaceship you can take. There's only one doorway, and you're the doorway. Jesus said it himself. You're the doorway. And that doorway is through the alone state. No one can come, and you don't want anybody around it. You have to face the aloneness yourself. I've talked about this before because as your mate dies, as you're older, mostly the males die first, but a female will stay at home by themselves. Some don't look for other men for a while, but they start to enjoy the aloneness. No, I'll just stay at home, thank you. They start to dig on and get into the alone state. And it's very nirvanic, no question about it, especially when everything starts to lose its separation and everything appears that it comes from the same source. It's different shape, but it comes from the same source. And that's cosmic consciousness. And when you get into those levels, to get to these levels, you're already here. You just are looking in through the eyes of embodiments. So you have to detach yourself from your embodiment. And these, I always say the autonomic's really good because it's hard. Shut up. I want to look within myself. Sit down. Shut up. I don't want to activate the physical world. I need to activate whatever world you want to go to. You want to see what's next? That's the astral body. So you have astral travel, mental travel, soul travel. You got all these things. But in reality, there's no traveling from Satnam or from the first level of consciousness. There's no traveling anymore. There's no where you're going because you're everywhere. And that, you can't describe that sensation. I know that from that point on, for you guys that have gotten to these levels, I've said this before, it is simply, how now can you get? How beingness can you be, right? Without absorbing into creation, how now can you get? And you can just let go, let go, let go, let go, expand, expand, let go, expand, expand. It'll stop you after a while because you can only go so far. I was going into the high God worlds. I was way up past Satnam, and it's like, it would say, if you don't stop now, you're not going to be able to at all. And we're not done here. And I'm going, I just was ready. And I tried every way I could to stop myself continue to expand. I did, but it was rough. So it's these states that you seek, but don't seek anything. You know, like I said, the seeker rarely finds anything because it's you you're looking for, the true you, not your higher self. You know, it's like, okay, who's my higher self? Who am I then? No. Everybody's trying to talk in terms of separation, even metaphysics and all this. This is all metaphysics. Is just the kind of the physics side of creation, if you will. So you can align yourself with the positive forces if you want. I mean, give out love and things, but in the now, love is the now. Love is consciousness. You don't have to give forth that which already exudes from you. When you're above duality, you don't have love and hate. They don't exist. You might define extreme aloneness, nowness, beingness as pure love. You could, because it's just extreme on the nirvanic list. But the importance of keeping balance and the importance of watching your karma. Karma just simply means cause and effect. And there's good karma, bad karma. We just use that word karma, but it's simply trying to put attention on, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So you have to learn those things when you're working in creation, or you're existing or playing or whatever in creation. We were talking about newer souls yesterday and stuff like that. You know, it's like, have fun. But for those that want the true experience of the God state, the alone state is your only doorway through it. And you're the one that is totally alone in that state. You're already totally alone. Each and every one of you are totally alone. You can't hide. I said this yesterday. There's nowhere, even in the God world, you can hide from yourself. You just can't do it because you're ever present. And the more you get your attention off of your embodiments and duality, you will experience that. You will experience that which doesn't go away, that which is eternal, that which is you. But it's also that which is you, and you up there that always comes in and listens. All of you. Because the illusion is that everything is separate. That's the illusion of duality. That everything has a different form. There's grass, there's alfalfa, there's all kinds of berries, there's all kinds of fruits, snowflakes, there's all kinds of humans, all kinds of giraffes, all kinds of everything, all kinds of grays, all kinds of reptilians, all kinds of everything, right? And many are unconscious, many are conscious. You've got all levels of understanding. But the reality will always come back to you no matter what form you're in. You don't have to be in the human form to understand these words. So spend time alone. I've never, after I came out of the woods, I have never been able to sleep with anybody. I've always had my own bedrooms and everything else because I have to have that alone time. Without that, you become very unbalanced spiritually. And you don't want to do that. Because then you start creating karma, you start falling into the whims of creation again, the whims of the mind. Because remember, the mind is a totally conditioned instrument. It's a computer. It gives you what you put into it. Although it's more like AI, of course. But the awareness behind the mind, the awareness behind thought is you. The awareness behind all things. The beauty and the fun of it is that everything looks different. Oh, look at that crystal. That's beautiful, man. I got some nice pieces at home. I can't believe nature produced those at this physical level. You see some of the beauty of some of these God worlds, and it's overwhelming. Get you. But when you look at the physical world, it's also all over the place. Look at I've got these huge boulders from the Caribbean. They're turquoise. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So there's a lot of beauty here, and there's a lot of things here that man doesn't understand. But the biggest thing man doesn't understand, man being humans, man and woman, is themselves. They're lost. They're tribal. And you got half of them trying to make the other ones comply with the other ones. Then you got a whole bunch wanting to kill the other ones. I said this yesterday, this is a warring planet, whether you like it or not. And making it peaceful ought to be interesting. There are some places in creation you just come for work out your karma of it. And I said, I look at some of these dictators and all these people that are hurt and all these souls. Holy crap. Some of the places, I talked about that yesterday, some of the places that are available for those that create maybe not such good karma. All I can say, if you knew some of the places that it uses to condition itself, are pretty friggin' frightening. From the core of your beingness, you can scream in these places. Holy crap, I've been there. And, it just kind of makes for, I don't want to use the word compliance, because that's ridiculous. Because there's no compliance with the all, because it's doing what it wants to do. But at the same time, this is all about what it does to itself, to develop itself. And if it wants to create endless dreamers in creation, that's just what it's doing. It'll develop itself as you and develop your ability to create, to dream and create worlds. There are certain levels where you become the creator and you can create worlds that'll exude just out of your beingness. And you'll see these worlds coming out of yourself. The problem is then you get to see what else is in yourself. Paul Twitchell had that experience too, and it was like, whoa, wow. But how expansive, even though your totality, could creation get in duality by what's going on here? It's pretty cool. Endless forms, endless levels, endless frequencies. Remember I told you about omniconic Venusian lady. And I was in practice, and she was in Ekankar, I think, at that time. And she was traveling around doing radio interviews and stuff. And I had her tapes, and I loaned it to someone. They never gave it back. But she was talking about the frequencies, like TV and radio. And that's why, from a physical point of view on Earth, you can't see the activity and the life that's on Venus at those frequencies. And I thought, wow. I mean, when you look at that, it's staggering, because you can't. All these different channels have their own frequencies. How many frequencies do you think there are just in this physical world? And life on all the frequencies? Oh, you can't even make this stuff up. You can't figure it out. It's just like the human body. There's so much theory this, theory that, and a good professor will say, hey, this is what we think. That's being honest. That's being honest. And I've always thought part of spirituality is not only being honest, but having integrity. And another thing I wanted to bring out in this is humility. It will make you humble if you're not. Whew. You got to keep that ego in check. As Mrs. Young used to say, the id. You keep your id in place. I put mine on the corner with a dunce hat on it. Stay over there. But yet the self has to motivate. So you have to, this is the things you watch. The accentuation of the etheric or ego body. The accentuation of the mind. The accentuation of the emotional body. All these things can get out of balance. No question about it. So when you come to a practitioner of the art, or you come to our clinic, we're going to balance you, and then on the inner, I'm going to balance you in another way. But I thought I would get in just a little of a spiritual video. I used to have endless things to talk about. The God worlds and the different cities that you could go to and the wisdom temples and, learning is fun on these inner planes. This is such a constipated world. Jesus criminy. Oh! But, you can walk into the light and all the answers come to you. Man. This is a low, tough world. Finding yourself here, awakening yourself here, now you're on the journey of how do I get out of here? And that is through the now. That is through letting go of desire. That's how Buddha coined detachment. I don't give a hoot anymore. It's nice, pretty. You want it? Keep yourself free. Free is an important word. You can enjoy all the beauty. You can make love as much as you want and enjoy the beauty of another being, but be free doing it. Be free doing everything that you do. Enjoy it for the moment. Don't carry it like a chain around your neck, because that's what keeps you here. And spinning. Stop that. Get this karma done with these people you're with. Generally, families travel in karmatic groups. And that's why you're seeing sometimes where the children are breaking away from the parents. But you're also seeing parents gluing themselves to their children. That glue can last many, many, many lifetimes. So those that have ears to hear, let go. Give everything love. Love your mate. Don't be attached. And that's difficult. Like your animals. You love them, but if they die, it kills you. You have to develop an understanding that life never dies. It is always changing molecularly. Consciousness, you can't kill it. So the awareness behind all your animals, they never go anywhere. And if your animals only grab an astral body, you can bring them and have them play with you and everything else if you're aware of the astral presence. To be aware of these astral side of life is you have to quit looking so intently to the physical side of life. I use this analogy all the time where you're looking at a painting with dots, and there's always some kind of picture behind the dots. But if you're looking right at it, you can't see it. And that's the point. And that's the whole point of when you're looking right at it, you can't see it. You have to pull back. That's why there's meditation, contemplation, prayer. And of course, that old saying, you petition the Lord with prayer. Why are you petitioning for anything? You are that which is. You just got to go in and tap that and understand that. Get used to using your inner more. If you have a disagreement with somebody, don't take it out on them in the physical. Go within. Sit them down and have a spiritual conversation with them. Pull them to you within. Believe me, it's real. It's not imagination. You can't imagine anything that doesn't exist. You do not have that ability. Nothing does. So communicate with people on these higher levels, and you will find that on the lower levels, it'll come right out and everything will smooth itself out. Work some of this karma, because hooking to a master, and I strongly recommend you look at the Ek Masters and see if one will work with you, because that's like night and day. But develop your ability to be the observer, your ability to watch thought but not follow it, your ability to engage your body in movement and activity without getting totally absorbed into it. You notice on a raw food diet, especially a fruitarian diet, you lose body consciousness. We talked about that yesterday. You lose the sensation of your body because your blood, nerve, and lymph are unobstructed. As you de-obstruct the human body, it's just like de-obstructing the mind with thoughts, de-obstructing the emotions. Get yourself free of these. Not that you can't have emotions. Don't live with them. Experience it, cry, and let it go. I've always said in detox, have a good cry and then go on. Grab a hold of it. Because you're the only one that makes the difference. You're the only one that can grab it. You're the only one that can be in the now. You're the only one. You can't bring anybody with you. People can tell you what to do. The masters can set you up. But you got to make the journey. No one's going to make it. You hear some of these lower beings saying, well, our masters will take on your karma and shit like that. Bull. Don't buy into anything, and don't open yourself up to other entities. You are the one. You don't need to open yourself up. Go through the doorway of aloneness. That's the door you're going through. You want to go to the heaven where there's only the one you call God? Then you're the only one that can go through that door to that one. It's fun. Real fun. Real expansive. There's times where it shakes your booty, but so is detox. When stuff has to come out, it has to come out. And the same thing emotionally. Don't follow them. Don't follow your anger and all this sort of thing. Get rid of it. For your loved ones, for anyone, for your family, whoever, let it all go. Become you. You're the soldier. No one else is. You could be born in a family of 20. Who cares? You're still alone. No matter where you are, who you are, what you are, you're still alone. But that's the beauty of it. That's the nirvanic of it. No one's tugging on your chain. And those that you love, look them at as part of the one. You're loving yourself when you really look at it. So, humility, be respectful to others. What's what you say? Some people put out a bunch of crap out there that's just not true. Realize that your words have actions and that If they hurt people, the karma might not be something you want. Get your facts straight. So much going on out there. Some of these young kids are willing to do anything. And it's like, if you're willing to do anything, then go through the doorway of aloneness and see if you can do it. I offered on TikTok out-of-body travels and learning how to be in the now by spending even an hour without thought. Can you spend 1 minute without thinking? Try it. Try sitting and just observing for 1 minute without thought. If you want to develop anything, develop that ability to pull yourself in the now. Better yet, to live in the now and allow everything to work itself outwardly, because that's what you'll end up working on. Because you want it all the time. You want to dwell in the kingdom all the time. But you are in the kingdom all the time. It's your bodies that live in duality, and your attention is through your bodies. Withdrawing your attention from your bodies has always been the key desire of all the monks and saints and saviors. Even for you Christians, you've got to break with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and understand Jesus in a far greater way. For those that have never read the Essene Gospel of Peace or the Essenes, look at the Essenes. Jesus belonged to that raw food community. You know, this way has always existed. It has to find a way to wake itself back up. That's why you have masters and you have others, because you're going to tap someone on the shoulder someday and wake them up. Or you're going to give them a sweet little kiss to wake them up. There's a lot of ways to help wake someone up. But then comes the struggle between creation and you, your bodies, and who runs them, or supposed to run them. And that's what this is all about. So I've woven these spiritual tips and understanding through all our health stuff. Well, I've had a lot of Eckankar centers I created, a lot of lectures. Once we found a piece of a chicken's foot or a rooster's foot. I mean, we had a lot of Spanish people that didn't think, were fearful, I'll say, of anything outside of their physical bodies and their little worlds that they've created. The religions scare them, for power and control. Anytime someone instills fear in you, it's for power and control over you. You should fear nothing. You come from the one. You are the one. Why would you fear anything? Get strong. You got entity problems? Tell them to go away. You're strong. With love. You have powers you don't even know you have. I had 1 million stories with that. Didn't know I had certain powers till they were put to the test. So enjoy your ride through this journey. Whatever level you're on, enjoy that. You enjoy everything to the max, but try to enjoy it in the now. So the next moment you can enjoy that one in the now and the next one in the now. They say time is nothing but a succession of nows. So live in those succession of nows. And teach your children to do that. Teach your children not to get locked in conditioned thinking, and that's what schools have a tendency to do. Montessori may be a little better, but we need to develop the ways to keep these beings more awake and still teach them how to function and add and subtract and all the other things you need to do to have life on planet Earth. But also, because some of you parents raising these children on raw foods are listening to their stories, telling of the worlds they come from. Whew. Cool stuff. That's why I never tire doing this. This is, you never get tired of being that which you are. You never get tired of helping others to find that within themselves. Because the journey in the physical world is tough. It's a warring planet. It's rough. The health of the species is in decay because of the lies, all the things that are going on this planet. But it also doesn't pull you into it anymore. Get away. Start detaching yourself from this. And that's what's important right now in your survival. Look at what you guys in the UK are facing from the Crown. Piece of crap. The Crown, right? You know, these people that take the rights and freedoms from others, bad karma, boys, and you're going to have to go through it yourself no matter what level you are. Your freedoms will be sucked from you. That's what they don't understand. But that unconsciousness keeps this world going. You have to understand that. As you wake up, you don't do the same things. And to live in a world where everybody's awakened, you're not going to see it here or anywhere close. You will have places of that you can visit if you want to do that. There's some middle worlds that are just very reverent and humble and just amazing. These beings exist for eons of time. You know, it's just when you're into these high levels, you can exist for eons of time in joy and bliss and happiness. But I can't tell you about that. Don't know. I've always had to keep on trucking. So I enjoy talking to you always about these things and working on your health. You're all assured to get your health back unless you get so advanced. Then you want to know these things because as it's your time to leave this physical embodiment, where are you going? Well, you'll just move into the astral body as a rule. Unless you have some other levels you've got to take care of, you will move into your next body, your astral body that you already have. And your house and everything will look the same except a little more etheric, a little more energy, a little more beauty. Everything you see here has an astral and mental presence to it. Because you can't have it from the Godhead to the physical without it. This is the God worlds of consciousness. These are the worlds of duality. This is that etheric purple area, that's the ego. This is the universal mind area of unreal architecture, size. You just have to see it. And then so forth. So enjoy it. Go down that road of spirituality. And to me, spirituality is just simply understanding that you're embodied and that you want to know who you are without the bodies. So then you have to pull your attention away from the bodies. I've always said, excuse me, if you want to reverse your attention, if you want to get more into this, reverse your attention. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. You're not a physical physical being having a spiritual experience. It's the other way around. Shift your awareness and work from consciousness, not try to look to it, because you'll never have it looking to it or seeking it. You can only have it by becoming it. That's the secret of consciousness. Consciousness wants to understand something. It has to become it. Well, it divided itself into the mind and emotions. It becomes it via these different levels. That way it can experience it mentally, emotionally, physically. It can experience all the experience from all these different levels. But it's still the illusion and the putty of creation that it's playing with. And it's you that's playing with it. Reverse your perspective. Work from consciousness. Be a God person. God woman, God man. That's why you're here. Everything you do for it. All my words, all my actions, all my deeds. So I love you guys. Probably a million things we could talk about. But it all comes down to the now. No conversation, no intellectual digs, no emotional pops. It's totally the now. It's totally the alone state. The now is the alone state. And the more now you get, the more alone you'll get. But wait a minute. There's all these other present beings. Oh, look, they're alone too. You start to understand the alone that each and everything has and is. And as you recognize that aloneness in yourself, like I said, you see it everywhere else. And then you realize creation is just about the activity, the fun of it all. It's not reality at all. It's just the drama, the soap opera, as I like to call it. Days of our lives. What is that? Young and Restless. God, I hate soap operas. Ah! But every time I come home, because my wife watches Price is Right in the morning, and there's another show on there. Let's Make a Deal. But right after that's a soap opera. So when everybody's gone out of the house, the dogs are sitting there listening to soap operas. I want that energy in there. Turn on Animal Planet or something. So love you guys. Thanks for working on yourselves, both spiritually and health-wise. I find them inseparable. Because as you bring in the energy, you're enhancing your ability to have awareness and to identify with that. So it's all fun. And so for me, I love you guys and enjoy this new line of botanicals. You'll see. Enough said.